Ladies and gentlemen, here we are, James and I in the same clothes for our Premier League midweek predictions and our Champions League group stage graduation, I guess, or qualification predictions as well. It's mine and James's favourite time of the year. We love the Champions League. I know it sounds like such a stupid thing to say because it's just the best clubs in Europe playing each other at football. Obviously, this is loads and loads of fun, but James and I has really got a special place in our hearts, I think, historically as well. But what we're going to do here, similar to the Jack versus James format that we've done in the Premier League, we're obviously going to keep it separate in the Champions League as well. But we're going to go through each of the group stages. This one will be a longer video, I'm afraid, but we're going to go through each of the group stages. James and I are each going to pick the two teams that we think we're going to go through. Any disagreements, I think we'll start talking about it. But apart from that, we're just going to give you a bit of a rationale and we're going to go from there. James, first of all, did you watch the draw? Any kind of storylines or anything interesting jump out to you about the Champions League groups?
I think as we go through them, I'll just remember some of the groups because I can't seem to remember all of them. Just kind of the thing I remember from the actual ceremony was just Ancelotti's long speech, like when he won the award. That's the only thing I really remember from it overall. But let's just get into the video, Jack. And
yeah, man.
We're kind of going in a bit, bit surprised because I can't remember all the groups, so it's going to be more of a raw reaction.
No, mate, I think that's good. And like I say, I think especially for people like you and me, I talk to friends about this all the time. I'm overthinking stuff about football all the time. Sometimes the most obvious thing to happen will just happen. It's not some wrinkle that you've thought of that you don't think anybody else is thinking of. Sometimes it's just the most obvious thing. But without any further ado, Group A. Ajax Amsterdam, Liverpool Football Club, Napoli, and Rangers. Giovanni Bronckhorst and Rangers are also making up that group. James, this is arguably my favourite group. This is a competitive football group. The first seeded team, the fourth seeded team. I'm not going to lie, can I see Rangers going to Ajax and getting a result? You bet. Can I see, I'm going to let you take it away, but I like this group. This is a fun group. Who have you got going through for this one?
This is a very, very fun group, Jack, and I'm not going to lie, I can see every team qualifying here. Every team has the ability to qualify. Now, the biggest thing for me is that I would have easily said Ajax, but they've been butchered by Manchester United. Right, they've lost Lisandro Martinez, they've lost their manager, they're now about to lose Anthony. Don't get it twisted, Jack. They've won because they made so much money from Manchester United. We might as well call them Manchester United FC. Right. But I think this is going to be a big one for them. It's going to be a tough one from them this year. I don't expect much from them this year. The one who, to me, is a real dark horse for me in this group is Rangers, because probably don't have as big of a pedigree as the rest of the teams there. But Jack, look at their run last year to get to the final. Look look at the team that they were able to beat there. Dortmund. I just can't remember.
Well, James, I'll give you one here. They beat PSV Eindhoven as well. Again, Ajax's biggest rivals in the Eredivisie, Rangers beat them over a two-leg thing. So I'm just saying,
I'm going to say, Jack, Liverpool finished top. I want to say Rangers. But I think Napoli finished second and Rangers finished third and Ajax finished bottom of the group.
Oh, Ajax bottom. Okay, interesting. Look, I have the exact same thing. I'm a little bit annoyed, actually. I was really hoping you'd take the low-hanging fruit and do Liverpool Ajax, and then I'd be able to sneak Napoli in. James, losing Erik ten Hag is huge. I know we haven't really touched on Manchester United too much so far this season, but James, I think Erik ten Hag is the real deal. And I really do. I think he will be a success at Manchester United. I think they finally found the right guy. Again, famous last words, but I do believe they finally found the right guy. They've lost him. They've lost Lisandro Martinez, who again has arguably been the best centre-back in the league so far this year based on his performances so far at Manchester United. Anthony, again, wild card, massively overpaid for him. He's also out the door. It's three very, very important pieces that have gone. Steven Bergwijn's there. Berghaus is there, right? Hakim Ziyech supposedly will be back there. So I don't think the quality in general is going to fall off a cliff too much. But I think too many important pieces have gone. And James, Napoli, again, You got the likes of a Victor Osimhen there, right? Spalletti, this is a dangerous football team. Italian football in Europe is not the strongest that it's ever been, but this is the one team I look at across that I think has a really good chance of going through in second. And yeah, Liverpool, of course, we think they're going to go through. Rangers again. This is going to be tough, James, and I can see a couple upsets along the way. I just don't know if they'll be consistent enough to make it out of the group. Is there anything else you wanted to touch on Group A there?
Just to me, just overall, every game, Jack, I actually would want to watch there. Very, very entertaining group overall. Rangers, I'm looking forward to seeing what they're like. I think that they're going to go further. I think that they will represent Scotland better than Celtic will.
Right. Moving on to Group B, I will kind of take it away first here, just so that people at home don't think that we're copying one another here. You got Porto, you got Atlético Madrid, you've got Bayer Leverkusen, and you've got Club Brugge. I'm going to go with how the kind of how the group sits, James. I'm going to have Porto going through, and I'm going to have Atletico Madrid in second. Atletico Madrid are the strongest team in the group. But again, Atletico Madrid are a very strange team. If you look at the squad, you look at some of their bigger players, where they're allocating their money, it just doesn't fit right. It doesn't seem right. You got kind of these big name players from a few years ago who are still kind of hanging around, with the likes of your Moratas, your Griezmanns and whatnot, who are still kind of lurking around at the club, chewing up these huge wages which they don't really deserve. You've got huge upside in the likes of a João Felix. Defensively, obviously, unbelievably strong, and that's why I think they'll probably finish second, James. I've got them. They're not going to concede many goals, but I also don't think they'll score that many either, which is why I think they'll probably just end up sneaking second. Porto, they've always got these really, really wildly talented players. And I think, James, a lot of young European, South American talented players are thinking of and looking at the Portuguese league because they've seen the history of the success of players going to the Primeira Liga and then just exploding. Luis Diaz or somebody of that nature, more recent examples, just going to that league, exploding, and then getting a move to one of Europe's elite clubs. So I think Porto will have some surprises. Bayer Leverkusen, I think they've lost a good chunk of players, and Club Brugge, it seems like, are kind of making up the numbers. So I'm going to say Porto go through top, Atletico Madrid in second. Who have you got?
I agree with you with the two, but I'm going to say Atletico ahead of Porto, just because of the fact that, Jack, in the last 10 years or so, hook or by crook, they've found a way. They're like the fact that in the last 10 years, Jack, they've been finalists twice, making semi-finals. And let's be honest, Jack, if it wasn't for a guy called Cristiano Ronaldo and also Real Madrid, they probably would have three, if I'm being honest. But again, Porto, Jack, you mentioned the fact of they just constantly produce player after player after player, especially from South America. The fact that a lot of European teams are quite hesitant to pick unproven Brazilian players. You always get the ones who are outstandingly talented, like a Neymar, like a Vinicius, who's almost like, you gotta sign them now. And then there's other ones who kind of need to go under the radar. You're not sure about them, like a Luis Diaz, for instance, a James Rodriguez, who's passed through Porto before, and there's so many other guys there. So they're always,
James, especially with Porto, there's actually kind of too many names to count. It's wild.
Mm-hmm. I look at somebody like also Bayern Leverkusen. Jack, I don't think that they're ready for the Champions League, if I'm being truthfully honest. I look at the start of the season, played 4, lost 3. Yes, they have Moussa Diaby, who's a very, very exciting player, but nothing in Bayern Leverkusen that lets me think, this team's gonna challenge again. Club Brugge, always been a difficult side, but a lot of teams seem to fancy having them in their group. Porto and Atletico, to me, in this group, just overall would just overpower them two teams there. So yeah, I'm going to go Atletico first, Porto second.
Yeah, I agree with you, and I think you make all the right noises there on Bayer Leverkusen. Guys, Bayer Leverkusen, they're one of those classic teams where it's like, if they'd kept all their stars, look at their 11 they could have had. Yeah, sure, that's fine, but they don't have their stars. So sorry, the pitch has got the players who you still have on them, not the players who you would have had if you'd kept them. So, James, so we've got Group A, Group B so far. Moving on to Group C. This is a spicy group. You've got three big, well, I would say it'd be interesting to hear your thoughts. You've got two big hitters, a really pretty big hitter, and then kind of somebody to make up the numbers. But I'm trying to wait. I went first, so you're going first again here this time, James. Sorry to put you on the spot. Touch it's such a tough group. Who you got going through here?
Jack, I think it's three big hitters because you look at how competitive they are in their individual leagues. Inter Milan, they broke Juventus's run. I know they finished second last season. You look at Bayern Munich. What can I say about Bayern Munich? And then you have Barcelona, Jack. That doesn't change. Lewandowski coming back to Barcelona to me is going to be very interesting. I think it's going to be interesting who you're going to pick to finish top because I think this is such a hard group to choose. Overall, Victoria Pilsen. Sorry guys. I know we've got a huge Victoria Pilsen subscriber base, James. They're all going to be so upset. Guys, but if you are watching, subscribe. Let's say Bayern Munich finished top of the group, and I'm gonna say in second place, let's go Barcelona. With a one where I think it will be Barca and Bayern. I think with you like Inter Milan, their lack of ability to adapt to to the Champions League with the success that they've had in Serie A and how dominant like they've been, and even when a player like Lukaku come back, they haven't been able to string to me a good run together in that time. They haven't even made a quarterfinal or semi-final. Even with Antonio Conte, they missed out on the group stage, missed out in the group stage twice. I don't know about. I'm just not sure about them overall. And I look at Barcelona, I look at Bayern Munich. Those two are always to me two home bankers. Yes, Barcelona failed to make the group stage for the first time in many years last season, but I'm going to go for those two. I'm going to go Bayern just top and Barca second.
I got the exact same, mate. And I think you highlighted a lot of the key points there. This is not Antonio Conte. This is Simone Inzaghi, right? This is not the same kind of level of coach who's going to be capable of this. A lot of those key players in that Scudetto winning Inter side that were there are no longer there. Proper veterans who really know their stuff, the likes of an Ivan Perisic, right? You know the talent of somebody like an Achraf Hakimi. Yeah, I think the strike force is still there, and that's great and fine. You've got good defensive, stability there, and a goalkeeper who's been there and done that and can be easily relied upon. But the two guys above are just it's a different gravy. Xavi Hernandez, I am pretty sold on as a coach. I think he's doing a nice job. We've seen the investment Barcelona have made. My goodness, the investment that they've made. We don't know how necessarily. Well, we kind of do, but not really. But there's that. And then Bayern Munich, they're always going to be incredibly strong. It's not the same Inter team. It's just not, and they're gonna lose out here, I'm afraid. Again, I'm not super confident on it, but again, this is one I'm not going to overthink it. I'm going to take the two best teams that they go through. So I'm going to copy you on that one, James. Bayern Munich and Barcelona 1 and 2. Group D: Eintracht Frankfurt, Tottenham Hotspur, Sporting Lisbon, and Olympique Marseille. I got Spurs going through top. I got Eintracht Frankfurt going through second. Sporting are a game changer. I don't think they're as dangerous as Porto. I do want to make a comment on Marseille though, James. They're a bit of a wild card. They've made some really nice acquisitions this summer. There's a style of play that they're trying to go for, trying to build towards. I do think they'll do relatively well in Ligue 1 this year. We know PSG will win the league, but I think Olympique Marseille will be competitive. I don't know. I think I feel very confident with Spurs in first, but that second spot is up for grabs. And if Eintracht Frankfurt make a mistake and don't play to the level that we know that they're potentially capable of, Olympique Marseille might be the team to take advantage of that. But again, like I said, I'm not going to overthink it. Spurs first, Eintracht Frankfurt second. Who have you got going through in Group D?
Jack, I don't think it's as straightforward as Spurs finishing top of this group and they're going to breeze it. I really don't think so.
Okay.
I feel like on any given day, home or away, every one of these teams, maybe by Sporting when they come to Tottenham, can give Tottenham a very tough game and even take points off them. Marseille is the one that I believe if they put it together, they can finish top of the group, Jack.
Top? No way. Okay. All right. I like it.
If they put it together, but they haven't been able to do it for a while, Jack. You know, and like you look at the way the French teams are, and like the way the league standings are in the coefficient wise, the fact that no other French team has been able to, you know, come together and get outside of the. I think Lyon was able to do that a few years ago, but it hasn't been as convincing, especially Marseille. We know the history around them, but I think not easily. But I think let's go Tottenham top, Marseille second.
Good for you. Good for you. I'm jealous that you had the cojones to do that,
Jack,
mate.
And also, Eintracht Frankfurt, yes, they won the Europa League, but they don't. Do they move you like? Let's say they don't move me.
They don't, but I will say that Lisbon and Marseille don't do it enough to make me. Do you know what I mean? The reason why I brought them up as a little bit of a wild card was because I do think they could go through. Absolutely, I don't think they go through top. But I do think that I do think there's reason for optimism there. Absolutely. Right, James. Sorry, I'm just keying in our picks here. James, you going again, mate? Coming thick and fast. Group E: Milan, Chelsea, RB Salzburg, Dinamo Zagreb. Interesting group. Group.
Very, very interesting group. A lot of, to me, different dynamics there, especially. This one's going to be interesting when Chelsea and Milan go to Dinamo in Salzburg, because I do believe that there are makings of some serious upsets there on both from both teams there. I don't think Chelsea are going to run through this group at all. But the one thing I am going to say about Thomas Tuchel, when you look at his Chelsea run, Jack, yeah, you might not be impressed by his league form, but Jack, you look at what he's done in the actual cup competitions, Jack. He's been to 4 or 5 finals. Been knocked out once He's been knocked out once by Real Madrid, and we know how spectacular that comeback was. And there was a few mistakes in there. Chelsea, when it comes to Champions League in the last few years, have been very strong. So I'm going to say Chelsea going top. It's been a long time since I've seen AC Milan in the knockout stages of a Champions League. I think the last time was in 2012 when they battered us on down. Those were terrible times. But I'm gonna say Milan finally. Surely they don't have that Inter Milan syndrome. I hope they don't have that Inter Milan syndrome where they're doing well in the league. We just can't put it together in the Champions League. It's still a group that they can qualify from. I'm going to say Chelsea top, AC Milan second.
I'm going to take Salzburg. I do think that Milan are going to be focusing on Serie A. I think that again, the kind of opportunity to win a domestic league has kind of fallen into a lot of these teams' laps. I know a lot of people at home will be like, "Oh, what's he talking about?" But Roma as well. Roma have a chance to win the league this year. Inter will be licking their chops as well. Napoli will not think they're out of it. Lazio as well. If Ciro Immobile is there, Sergej Milinkovic-Savic is there. You got. Oh my God, I'm blanking on his name. Maurizio Sarri's your coach. You'll still have optimism that you'll be able to achieve anything. So I think the reason why the only Italian team I believe that I have going through is going to be Napoli, because I just think that the focus isn't there, and we've seen how abysmal the Italian teams have been in Europe. Salzburg, on the other hand, we know again this is just a development factory for Leipzig and for making money for Red Bull basically. They play without fear. We talk about this, and I talked about this with you last year. They win week in and week out in the Austrian Bundesliga. So again, that bleeds into the just general team confidence and ability to play with one another. So I think that will be dangerous. I agree with you, James. Zagreb, yeah. Milan scares me. It does. My thoughts on somebody like a Rafael Leao. I know that Sandro Tonali has gone up a great deal in a lot of people's estimations as well. Fikayo Tomori, obviously we're keeping a nice kind of close eye on as well, and there is talent across the board there. Brahim Diaz looks the player I think Man City thought that they had when he was there as well. I just can't do it. I just can't do it. I'm going on precedent. I'm going on the Italians in recent history. Not Roma, obviously. Roma win European competitions, even if it is the Conference League. But on the most part, especially at the top European level, the Italian clubs fall short. It's just a fact of the matter. So I'm going to take Salzburg in second. Group F, Real Madrid, Red Bull again, but RB Leipzig, Shakhtar Donetsk, and Celtic. Again, I'm loving these Scottish teams in Champions League. It's great because, James, for a fact there's going to be at least 3 games in Scotland for some of these top European teams to have to come to, and they're not going to like it.
Jack, when I think of Celtic in the Champions League, I think of Nakamura taking that free kick against Eden van der Sar and scoring like that. Like, those are the type of memories I have for them going against Manchester United. They're like during them times, it's
great. It is great. And again, I think the English teams feel like they should be there, whereas the Scottish teams, there is a little bit of a hey, we can do whatever we want. I like the idea. I know he's not really there, or not playing there anymore, but Scott Brown, puffing out his chest, giving the business to somebody, right? But yeah, Group F, James, I'm going to be super boring here. I'm really, really sorry. Real Madrid, Leipzig. These 2 teams outclassed the other 2 teams. Okay, it's Ukraine. We know what's going on there. Obviously, we're not going to comment about what's going on there. Apart from obviously, it's a tragedy. But again, we don't know what we'll get from Shakhtar Donetsk team. Celtic, again, we've just touched on how dangerous they can be if it's at Celtic. But James, Real Madrid. These are sorry to kind of, I guess, give this away. But yeah, Real Madrid are my favourites to win the thing again. I don't know how you can't pick them to win the Champions League again. And Leipzig, again, just the talent. I just think that they'll be too much for the other 2. Who have you got in Group F?
Jack, I have Real Madrid top, but I'm going to shake it up a bit. I'm going to go Shakhtar Donetsk. In the last few years, Jack, they've always seemed to get Real Madrid in the Champions League. I think the last 2-3 years, Jack, they've had Real Madrid in their group every single time, and they've done well against them, Jack. They've gotten some good wins against them. I think 2 seasons ago they got back-to-back wins against Real Madrid, home or away. And I look at them and think that what team can take points off Real Madrid? Shakhtar can. And then I looked at, can RB Leipzig go to Shakhtar and get a victory? I think Shakhtar would fancy themselves have seen Celtic come, Real Madrid come, and even RB Leipzig come. And I look at overall, they're all the body to work in the last 10 years in Champions League, Jack. They're always in it. They're always a threat, and they've taken some big scalps. I look at RB Leipzig. They've had 1 or 2 good moments, but it hasn't come to the aid compared to what Shakhtar Donetsk have. So I'm going to say Shakhtar, Real Madrid. It seems to be a match made in heaven in Champions League group stage. They always just seem to come up against each other.
Yeah, look, I respect it, mate. I do respect it. Again, I've kind of taken the low-hanging fruit there. I'm trying as hard as I can at the moment not to overthink things here a little too much. I'm going to get you to go again, mate. Group G, kind of rounding us off slowly but surely here. Manchester City, Sevilla, Borussia Dortmund, FC Copenhagen.
Okay, Man City. Let's not beat
around the bush.
Yeah, let's not beat around the bush. And then, to me, it's a toss-up. Jack, I'm not convinced about Dortmund, and I'm not convinced about Sevilla. Copenhagen
Copenhagen then.
Yeah, Copenhagen give me a bit more confidence to pull a good. I'm not playing.
Oh, no, hey, look,
this one is the one where if I can just leave it blank, I will, because I don't know what I'm going to get from both teams. It seems like Sevilla they would prefer it. I think Sevilla wouldn't mind, going down to the Europa League and trying to have their hand in winning that, because they're great at that. But
guaranteed Champions League spot too. It's nothing to be shouted at.
Let's go for Sevilla, because I'm not convinced about both teams. And Dortmund, last few years, especially, they've been butchered from the fact that every single year they're going to lose one of their best players. They lost Haaland this year. It's probably going to be Jude Bellingham soon. I think Sevilla have a bit more than them in just overall, what they've done in Europe. I'm going to say Sevilla.
I've got the same reasons, mate, and the same mentality as you. City, set in stone, right at the top there. Yeah, Dortmund, it's disappointing. It's disappointing. I used to love Dortmund. I mean, to be fair, they're still top of the entertainment chart. And the entertainment chart, for those who don't know, are goals scored plus goals conceded per game, right? So if you go to a football match, how many goals are you going to see? Dortmund are the top in like Europe's top 5 leagues because, again, they are just fun to watch from that aspect. They score, they concede. It's great fun, right? It's a good day out. If you're a general fan, I'm sure it's not good for the heart of the season ticket holders. But yeah, James, we are far from the Mario Götze, Marco Reus, Shinji Kagawa, Robert Lewandowski, Mats Hummels, Neven Subotic, Piszczek, right, Schmelzer, Weidenfeller, Klopp, right? We're far. Gundogan, we're far. Nuri Sahin, we're far from those days. Sadly,
picking up some serious names. FIFA 12 will go crazy for them names. Man.
Honestly, but the because it's one of my favorite teams of all time. I love that team. There was really no position on the pitch where I thought, oh, they're not a good player, or I don't like them. This was a really fun team to watch. Made me really fall in love with Borussia Dortmund. It's not the same. It's a real kind of change of the guard feel that what's happening there at the moment. And again, it's just not the same kind of gravy. Sevilla, you know what you're going to get. And again, it's not the most pretty thing in the world, but I do just think there'll be enough draws and the odd sneaky win where Sevilla will make it through there in second, obviously with Manchester City finishing top. James, I'll finish us off here. Group H, Paris Saint-Germain, Juventus, Benfica, and Maccabi Haifa, I believe. Now, one thing I will say about Maccabi Haifa, I believe they played Real Madrid last year. Is that correct? I think one of the Maccabi, maybe it was Maccabi Tel Aviv, I'm not sure, but one of those teams played Real Madrid and beat them last year. So again, you talk about the kind of general quality. A lot of these teams are not to be kind of just batted away. I'm going to go PSG top, but James, I'm going to go Benfica second. Max Allegri and this Juventus team is not a good romance or relationship. Now that he doesn't just have everything set up so that he can just win the Scudetto every year and just do basically the bare minimum to succeed for a kind of a top Juventus side, there are so many players that just aren't really available at the moment. And we're seeing the kind of problems that's showing. The amount of play and opportunities that Dusan Vlahovic has to show his talent. We saw his fantastic free kick against Roma at the weekend. But again, this is not conducive to the way that Juventus should be playing football. And it's just not a good kind of fit for me anymore with Max Allegri at Juventus. And I think, again, I touched on the Italians, and I leaked this a little earlier. The only Italian team I'm picking to go through is going to be Napoli. I just think that Benfica, similar to Porto in that respect, they take raw talent, they have them perform on a European stage so that everybody can know their name, right? And then Liverpool's come in, and Man City's come in, and Real Madrid's come in, and Manchester United's and Chelsea's come in, and they sign these players for big fees, right? And that's what we've seen happen time and time again. I can just see Benfica beating Juventus home and away, beating Maccabi maybe home and away as well. And, before you know it, even if they lose twice to PSG, that's them through in second, no problem. So to me, PSG first, Benfica second.
PSG, I'm going to go for them. Yeah, there's crazy stuff going over there, but too much quality there. And I feel like they're a bit more relaxed and a bit more settled than the other teams there. I'm not saying Benfica aren't settled, but the quality kind of, just gives me that added confidence. I think with Juventus, when I look at it, Jack, the quality there is too much. They got Di Maria, Dusan Vlahovic, Paul Pogba if he's able to get fit, and just on an overall Chiesa if he can somehow come back. Like it's still a very, very, very talented side. Benfica last year were able to qualify with a group with Barcelona and Bayern Munich in it. Yes, they do have that sort of quality there, but again, losing Darwin Núñez, we know how important he was to them last season. Juventus quality overall is too much, and maybe it gets to the group stages, and all the top teams would fancy having going against Juventus because they're not at the same level as that was like what they used to be. I get it, but at this moment of time in this group, I just see them going through, and I'm going to say PSG first, Juventus second.
that rounds it off, guys. We've gone groups A through H. So obviously, unfortunately, it's been a little bit of a longer video because we've got to explain our picks, especially when a couple of rogue teams make the list here as well. Guys, comment section, let us know what you have and any disagreements you have, and also give us your reasons, because James and I are pretty active on the old comments. We're happy to engage with you, tell you why you're so stupid for making a pick. But yeah, look, group A, James and I have both gone Liverpool, Napoli. Group B, Porto and Atlético, but they've been swapped. Bayern, Barcelona, the same for me and James. Spurs, Frankfurt. James has got Marseille going. Sorry, Group D, Spurs, both of us, but Frankfurt and Marseille, we're split on that one. Group E, same thing. We've both got Chelsea, but Salzburg and Milan. Group F, Real Madrid, but also I've taken Leipzig. James has taken Shakhtar Donetsk. The same for Group G with City and Sevilla. And Group H, another difference. PSG for both of us, but I've taken Benfica. James has taken Juventus. Like I say, guys, let us know in the comments. Drop a like on the video if you like what you've seen as well. We will be doing this obviously for the group stages as we get into the knockouts as well. And obviously, guys, before we know it, we're going to be talking about the Champions League group stages being over. It's World Cup time pretty soon. Scroll down while you're down, hopefully liking the video. Please check if you're subscribed. Like I say, the algorithm works in a really, really funny way. You may be getting our videos, but you may not be subscribed. So do just check that and hit the bell as well if you want to be notified. James, anything else from you, mate?
Guys, hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Comment on this video. Let us know all your predictions there. If you want to grill me and Jack, grill us. Let us know in the comments, guys. Like, share, and subscribe one more time, and we will see you next time.